are living in a dangerous situation where we are beginning to slow down the private sector from a trajectory that was picking up. Mr. Chairman, the current account balance or the current account deficit improved to 3.9% of GDP in the 12 months to April 2024, down from 4.7% of GDP in a similar period in 2023. And this was supported by 7.7% decline in goods imported, reflecting lower imports, domestic shocks that have pushed the economy to its lowest activity level. The shocks included COVID-19 pandemic and effects of climate change, from the prolonged drought in 2021 to the floods in 2024. These shocks escalated the cost of essential household commodities. They also pushed up fuel prices and led to a rapid depreciation of the Kenya shilling exchange rate, thus piling pressure on public debt. Mr. Chairman, through focused policy interventions and structural reforms, the government efforts have started to yield some positive results. The economy grew by 5.6% in 2023, up from 4.9% in 2022, a demonstration of resilience and the sustenance of economic recovery. This growth momentum has continued into 2024, with the economy expanding by 5% in the first quarter, and it is projected to grow by 5.5% by the end of the year. This growth is largely driven by a strong rebound in the agricultural sector, which benefited from favorable weather conditions after 2 years of severe droughts. Additionally, service sectors remained resilient, with tourism, transport, real estate, financial, and ICT services supporting growth. Private domestic demand is expected to remain resilient, even as the public sector consolidates further, while providing support for government initiatives aimed to benefit people at the bottom of the income pyramid. Mr. Chairman, this strong growth will be reinforced by ongoing interventions under the bottom-up economic transformation. The better objectives are bringing down the cost of living, eradicating hunger, creating jobs, expanding the tax base, improving foreign exchange balances, and inclusive growth. The MTP4 adopted a value chain approach with the better co-pillars and key enablers clustered under 5 sectors, that is finance and production, infrastructure, social, environment and natural resources, and governance and public administration. Economic growth over the medium term will be driven by raising agricultural productivity, transforming the micro, small, and medium enterprise economy, increasing investment in housing and settlement, strengthening healthcare through universal health coverage, and investing in the digital superhighway and creative economy. Mr. Chairman, let me draw members to paragraph 25. That is on inflation. Inflation is now firmly under control at 4.6% in June 2024, from 7.9% in 2023, and a peak of 9.6% in October 2022, due to easing of food and energy prices. The appreciating shilling produced a strong pass-through effect to lower domestic prices, supported by a tight monetary policy stance and interventions by government in providing subsidized fertilizer and seeds, which continue to lower the cost of food production, but also revitalize agricultural production. Inflation is projected to remain within the target band over the medium term. Mr. Chairman, as you know, the target band is between 2.5 up to 7.5. Tight monetary policy to stabilize inflation has led to rising interest rates and a slowdown in the growth of the private sector credit. The interbank rate increased to 13.3% in June 2024 compared to 9.6% in June 2023, while the 91-day Treasury bills rate increased to 16% from 11.5% over the same period, thereby increasing the cost of borrowing by government from the domestic market. So, Mr. Chairman, the flip side is that when we don't have revenue, then government has to borrow. So the interest rates are beginning to rise in the domestic market because now the government is beginning to re-enter into that space. Commercial bank lending to the private sector declined to grow by 4.5% in April 2024 and 7.9% in March 2024, down from 13.2% in March 2023. This has had negative effects on private sector activities. The consequences of fighting supply-driven inflation is that it has negative effects on economic vibrancy in the short term. So basically, we are living in a dangerous situation where we are beginning to slow down the private sector from a trajectory that was picking up. Mr. Chairman, the current account balance or the current account deficit improved to 3.9% of GDP in the 12 months to April 2024, down from 4.7% of GDP in a similar period in 2023. And this was supported by 7.7% decline in goods imported, reflecting lower imports across all categories except machinery and transport equipment. Here you can also say that we benefited from the increased food production, and therefore there was less of food imports. Our exports increased by 2.9%, reflecting increased exports of agricultural commodities and re-exports. Mr. Chairman, tourism receipts rebounded faster than anticipated to their pre-COVID-19 levels. Tourist arrivals improved by 27.2% in the 12 months to March 2024, compared to a similar period in 2023. So that was a real good show from the tourism sector. Mr. Chairman, remittances increased by 12.8% to US dollars 4.5 billion in the 12 months to May 2024, compared to 3.997 billion over a similar period in 2023. This increased forex inflows into the country. Some went to investment while others supported household consumption. That means there's a very strong growth in the diaspora remittances. Mr. Chairman, tight policies and flexible exchange rates, coupled with initiatives to attract foreign direct investment and enhance export performance, are anticipated to help stabilize the current account deficit around 4% of GDP in the medium term. So whatever we do, we must make sure that we are not chasing away foreign direct investment as a nation. Mr. Chairman, our foreign exchange reserves, the official foreign exchange reserves, which stood at 7.8 billion US dollars, that is an import cover of 4 months, 4.1 to be precise, was available up to May 2024. And this continues to provide adequate cover and a buffer against any short-term shocks in the foreign exchange market. The exchange rate to the dollar has stabilized in the range of 128 to 131 since February 2024. The exchange rate to the dollar stood at 129.5 by end June